Greetings, dear viewers, ladies and gentlemen. This is Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Shafar Alako. Do stay with us. Now, the new Foreign Minister of China, Qin Gang, has arrived in Addis Ababa this morning on a working official visit to Ethiopia. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeqa Mekonnen has welcomed the Foreign Minister of China upon his arrival at the Bole International Airport. The new Foreign Minister work visit to Ethiopia is part of a week-long trip to 5 African countries. In his work visit in Addis Ababa, the Foreign Minister is expected to discuss with high-level government officials of Ethiopia on bilateral and multilateral issues. Well, dear viewers, to tell us more on the working visits of the Chinese Foreign Minister, I'm joined here in the studio by my colleague Dems Makurel. So stay with us, and Dems, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me, Shafi.
So as we covered in the news story, the Chinese Foreign Minister is here in Ethiopia on a working visit to this East African nation. What more can you tell us in this regard?
Exactly. So as you rightly said, the very outset of our news package, today we welcomed the newly appointed Chinese Foreign Minister, Qin Gang, in the Bole International Airport. And upon his arrival, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeqa Mekonnen, of course, welcomed along with other government officials. And this newly appointed Chinese Foreign Minister is, of course, appointed on December 30. And he was previously worked as an Chinese ambassador to the United States, and presently he is taking the responsibility of the Chinese Foreign Minister. And immediately after his appointment, we can say, he's doing his first overseas visit. And of course, over the last 33 years, when the Chinese foreign ministers did their overseas visit, they start their visit from Africa.
Right.
And he's continuing that traditional relationship with Africa. And he started his visit, of course, including Ethiopia, 5 African countries. After Ethiopia, he will be also expected to visit Gabon, Angola, Benin, and Egypt. He will be meeting with all the 5 visiting countries, foreign ministers and leaders from those countries,
right,
along with officials from the African Union and the Arab League. So he'll be talking about issues of mutual importance between China and Africa and the Arab League, and with also those continental institutions.
Right.
So the visit for Ethiopia really has lots of implication and is very far-reaching, because China is one of the solid partners to Ethiopia, especially when Ethiopia was in war over the last 2 years. While the issue was taken so many times to the UN Security Council, China showed a strong solidarity to Ethiopia and a very dependable friend to Ethiopia. Not only that, China has one of the largest foreign direct investment in Ethiopia, and the relationship in terms of trade is also very huge with China. So Ethiopia is looking forward to strengthen that relation with China.
Exactly.
When we hear the appointment of the new foreign minister, Ethiopian Deputy Prime Minister Demeqa Mekonnen said Ethiopia is looking forward to work in collaboration and further cement the relation between the 2 countries. So it's a very important moment for Ethiopia to further cement its long-standing relationship with China, and I hope Ethiopia will definitely harness that opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, this visit to Ethiopia will definitely boost up the bilateral and multilateral friendship of Ethiopia and China. Demis, thank you so much for that idea.
Thank you, Shafi.
Now, moving to other stories, scholars say the international level information about the Abai water was not written from Ethiopia's point of view. So the world did not understand Ethiopia's ownership rights. This was disclosed during a presentation on a book written by Dereje Fekadu about the Abai River. Yohannes Fantaun has more on that.
The Abai River originates from an area called Sakala in Ethiopia and flows directly into Lake Tana. It passes through Tana and joins the tributaries in various parts of Ethiopia for centuries, passing through Sudan and Egypt and entering the Mediterranean. Although Ethiopia produces 86% of the river's water that flows through the three basin countries, when one looks at the different stories written about the river, they are reported from the perspective of Sudan and Egypt or their colonial rules. This misunderstanding of history has caused the international community not to properly understand Ethiopia's claim of ownership on the river. Dereje Fekadu, who has written a book about the Abai River, says that apart from the fact that there are different needs in the region, there are not enough articles describing Ethiopia's history on the river.
All the material written so far has been written from the point of view of others, that is from the point of view of Egypt or England. Therefore, what we are doing is why we cannot use the history of Ethiopia on the Abai River, as well as geopolitical and other resources. We are promoting the information, why we can't use it without harming others.
The current Ethiopian ambassador to the US and the former negotiator of the dam, Engineer Sleshi Bekele, said that Ethiopia should not rest on the gerd as the population is increasing. And he pointed out that irrigation and small hydropower projects should be done on the tributaries of Abai River.
The Nile River has many tributaries in the east and west. We shouldn't just be happy with the ending of GERD. As we have seen in the master plan, we have to do 3 or 4 more small hydropower and irrigation projects. As our population grows, so do our needs. Ethiopia's share in the transboundary of the Nile should be properly respected by law.
Ambassador Tesfaye Ilma from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that there are many Ethiopians with different professions who are engaged in high positions of responsibility and research in different countries of the world and who want to take part in supporting their country.
The diaspora have interest to support Ethiopia according to their profession, their skills and the education they have learned, whether it is in terms of nation building or by studying and presenting various information or writing books. It is a promising start in terms of providing resources and helping to protect the interests of Ethiopia in other matters.
Ethiopia is repeatedly stating that it is exercising its right to use its natural resources in a way that does not harm others. And the author of the book emphasized that in order to correct the wrong understanding of the international community, frequent and accessible information should be provided from an Ethiopian perspective.
Now, Ethiopian-born diaspora says the Green Legacy Initiative, spearheaded by Ethiopia, helps regreen Africa and is an opportunity for the new generation. The initiative is making a difference. The international community should support this noble cause, he added. Goshu Melissa has more on that.
The Green Legacy Initiative is a demonstration of Ethiopia's long-term commitment to a multifaceted response to the impacts of climate change. Talking to Addis Dialogue program, an Ethiopian-born Eritrean diaspora who is studying agroforestry at California University said the Green Legacy Initiative, spearheaded by Ethiopia, helps regreening Africa and an opportunity for new generation.
As you know, there's a great green wall that's currently going on that's involved 11 different countries. Exactly. But this green legacy is more about regreening Africa, actually. And starting here with a major ambition is actually what we need to see, because a lot of hope is being lost right now in Africa, and we need to bring that back. And it's in our opportunity, us as young people, we're very hopeful. And so we need to keep on to fuel this, and this is why it's a green legacy, to create a legacy that we can carry on.
He also underscored that the initiative is making a difference, so the international community should support this noble cause.
One thing I do know is that the green legacy has created a really green economy going on in Ethiopia. Forestry used to just be more of an environmental factor, but now is moving into actually an economic sector. And so, for example, in the US, we have a very strong forestry sector that's going on. And that's actually what I'm trying to do, is create connections between my university and Ethiopia, and to see what kind of knowledge transfer that can go on. And in the sense of economic development, I think that first the conversation needs to be happening, and the fact that Ethiopia is actually making a difference. And that needs to be seen from the international community. And once that's seen, I think it's taken over by the professionals.
Thaddeus asserted that neighboring countries need to shore up the legacy by connecting researchers.
Neighboring countries can help by asking what are their needs, looking around their country, bringing awareness to this green culture, and seeing that, of course, there's different trees that will be planted in different areas, but these conversations need to be started. And by connecting with researchers here, and by connecting with researchers also in the US, like what I've been doing, is really what's going on, where we can create, a global community that will bring major green change in Africa, which is very much needed at this moment and in the future.
It is to be recalled that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed received Outstanding Africa Leadership Award for his contribution on Green Legacy Initiative.
Somalia's Transport and Civil Aviation Minister Fardowsa Osman Egal has arrived in Addis Ababa for an official working visit to Ethiopia. Upon arrival at the Addis Ababa Bole International Airport, the minister and her delegation were warmly welcomed by the Minister of Transport and Logistics, Dagmarit Mogas. The delegation will dwell on strengthening of bilateral cooperation between Ethiopia and Somalia in the field of civil aviation. The Somali Transport and Civil Aviation Minister also indicated on Twitter that the delegation arrived in Addis Ababa to complete aviation agreement between Somalia and Ethiopia.
ያመውም የመጣ ከገርነ ንግስተ ሰባ ጋር እያያዘራሱ ለምንድነው እንትን የተባለው ማይለምን የተባለው ዘንደው ነው እዚህ ውሃው ይጠጣል ማለት ነው። በርቀት ያዩን ሰዎች አይኑን ጎላጎላ ያለ በጣም እንትን ነበር ትላልቅ ነበርና አያችሁት አይኑን ሲሉት ሎሚ ያክላል ሲሉ ከዛ የተነሳ ነው ማይለምን የተባለው ነው የሚሉን። እንግዲህ በታሪክ የቆየ ነው ማለት ነውና ከዛ ጋር ነው የሚያያይዙት።
ይህ ስፍራ በ1996 ዓመተ ምህረት በፈረንጆች አቆጣጠር ማለት ነው የአርኪኦሎጂ ዳሰሳ ተደርጎበት ነበር። የዳሰሳው ሪፖርት እንደሚያሳየው ይሄ ቦታ በቀደምት ሰዎች ማህበረሰብ ሰፍረውበት እንደነበረ ይገልጻል።
Welcome back. You're still watching Addis News Hour. Now, the National Electoral Board of Ethiopia has briefed journalists about a referendum to be undertaken in 6 zones, which comprise Konso, South Omo, Walaita, Gamo, Gedio, and Gofa, as well as 5th districts, namely Burji, Basketo, Ale, Amaro, and Darashim. And our staff reporter Kasaun Chani, who took part in a press briefing held in Addis Ababa, has brought us the following report. Have a listen to this.
The National Electoral Board of Ethiopia briefed journalists regarding the referendum to be held in councils as Omo, Walaita, Gamo, Gedio and Gofa zones in the southern region, as well as Burji, Basketo, Ale, Amaro and Rasha special districts, indicating the 3,769 regular and 7 offices for the displaced. 11 zonal and district referendum offices are arranged to undertake the referendum process. The National Electoral Board of Ethiopia Chairperson Birtukan Mideksa announced that the board has been undertaking thus to finalize the referendum processes in accordance with the law.
We have given capacity training for more than 11,485 executive individuals and those concerned bodies to undertake the referendum process smoothly in accordance with the law.
On the occasion, Board Chairperson Birtukan Mideksa pointed out that the registration of displaced voters was conducted in Konso, Ale and Rasha areas. Among the problems encountered in the process was the rejection of the previous registration due to violations of the law at 24 polling stations.
Within a referendum process, there has been a problem observed among the evils and wrongdoings that were illegal acts occurred within 24 polling stations were totally disqualified, and we have to start the registration, arranging and discussing within those concerned bodies, warning to stop such illegal acts.
It was also revealed that 2,934,143 voters were registered in 24 polling stations, and 5,274 local observers were sought to be stationed in the referendum registration. The referendum process is scheduled to be undertaken on January 29, 2015, Ethiopian calendar.
The Culture and Tourism Department of Gondar City is ready to host the Epiphany or Timkat holiday with assortments. Ethiopian Epiphany is a colorful festival celebrated all over Ethiopia to commemorate the baptism of Jesus Christ by John the Baptist in the River Jordan. The commemoration starts on the eve of the main festival on January 18. In particular, it is a very colorful annual event in the city of Gondar, the capital city of Ethiopia, from the early 17th to mid-19th century, a city known as the Camelot of Africa.